It's our first time looking at a Sanei Mario plush, and where better to start than the all-star Bowser? Get a good feel for my very favorite character and what could be my favorite toy of him. From Sanei's Super Mario All-Star line of plush from Japan that you can now find at Target, Walmart, and basically everywhere else, this is Bowser. And if you ever just want to get a feel for how good Sanei is at making plush and making them feel like something spectacular for a low price, Bowser is a great place to start. Taking a closer look, and the details are so sharp and spectacular. It's kind of funny. As a kid, I never liked plush because I never felt like they could capture characters well, but Sanei really does know how to get these details perfect for characters. I especially love the detail that Bowser has the M-shaped mouth, the kind of cat mouth. He doesn't have spikes on his braces, but I think that's fine because you still have the color playouts for them, and you can see that he does have claws, even though his hands are balled into fists. That could have been a place where they cheaped out if they wanted to. And then, of course, you have big, bulbousy feet down here, with beads in the feet, as well as the back to try to keep everything level. And the back of the plush has Bowser's spiked tail and shell. Everything looks great, colors are unique, different materials throughout to make every texture look correct. There's just one big issue with Bowser. He is very front-heavy. Even with that, you can definitely make him stand. You might just have to push down on him a bit to make everything settle. I also do want to say this. In terms of sensory materials, the only thing that gives me any problem is the teeth. They do feel a bit weird. And that's also a bit of an aesthetic issue. Teeth must be hard on plush because it seems like every plush I have, the teeth are always at such a weird angle. They can never go right where you want them to. But I think that's fine. It looks correct enough, and it just looks like a big, goofy, silly Bowser. That's totally the Bowser you'd want to take to bed with you. That's great. Messing with this plush really does go to show why Sanei is great at what they do. And it makes me love that I'm starting this collection and gives me excitement as to what other characters I might find out about. But there's also a part of me that thinks, man, I kind of feel like there's a lot of designs that I love that just aren't ever going to give any love. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm always going to love King Koopa here, but this wasn't the first Bowser design I knew, and even though I love him, and he's one of my favorite video game characters, and I want everything I can of Bowser, there's always a part of me that's like, man, I wish I could have the Bowser I grew up with. The Bowser that I would have watched on Netflix every morning with my little sisters when we were young. You know, the Bowser from the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. Back before he was even Bowser, back when King of the Koopas wasn't his title, but his name. It's a shame that Nintendo really doesn't like using outdated designs, because I would love a King Koopa plush, and I guess it's just never gonna happen. Never gonna happen officially! A thing I learned about very quickly when I started getting really into Sanei plush is just how often their plushies are knocked off. They're quality, and everybody loves them, so of course you would try to rip them off for a buck. And there was a video I watched from the YouTuber PatMac. Check them out, they're amazing. I loved learning about plushies through them. But PatMac did a video about knockoff Mario product, and they told me all about a company that specifically knocked off plushies from Sanei and made characters and designs that Nintendo would never officially license or care about. Luma came up, Toadsworth, a handful of Bowsers like Dark Bowser, Dry Bowser, Giga Bowser. But then there was also this guy, King Koopa, from the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, and he is spectacular. Now, I do need to stress this, in the most charitable terms possible. This figure is illegal. Not illegal to own, of course, but illegal to make. And all the DNA from this Bowser is in that King Koopa. You can really see it in the arms, where they just reused the same pieces and changed the colors. But even things like the legs, the feet are all very similar. And in hand, you can just really see how the skeleton of one turned into the other. That said, it's kind of cool to see Bowser with King Koopa. It's really fun to see, you know, the design we have now and is iconic compared to what was at one point supposed to be the design. Even if this is a knockoff plush, even if there's some things that are off about it, even if he is a tad wall-eyed, King Koopa is still a really strong design, a really cool, cartoony, fun design that I adore, and if I can, I will totally rip off in a cartoon of my own one day, but these work. It's a good duo. I don't know, maybe my years as a Transformers fan have really dulled me to the idea of third-party knockoffs, improved KOs. Like, this is kind of second nature to me, and I understand that that's not the case in a lot of other fandoms, and I know that there's specifically a huge pushback in the fandom of plushies and Mario plushies for this company, but I look at this and it's like, Nintendo's never gonna make this. They're never gonna make King Koopa. They're never gonna make a plushie of Dark Bowser or Bowletta or Dry Bowser, so if they can make a quality plush and make some money doing it, why not? Looking at King Koopa, the first thing I'll say is he is a lot more stable than Bowser. He's able to stand easier, and I think it's because he has a full tail on the back that really helps weight him down. Even though he can still be front heavy, he still has that big maw ahead of him. The details are still the same. You have less spikes on the back, but the spikes that are here are very similar to Bowser's. They're just blown up a bit. I love the bull horns up here that are like a stark white to be more accurate to the design. The teeth are still really goofy and weird, but that's okay. I don't like the material on his stomach, not because it feels bad, but just because it looks too wrinkly. He's supposed to be kind of smooth down there, but I think it works. And then, of course, like I said, his eyes are a bit misaligned, but if you look at him like that from the side, it looks perfect, so I'm not really going to complain. The only other major thing to talk about is his crown. It is attached by only 2 strings, so you have to be pretty careful, I think, but as long as you're not like throwing this guy around, it should be fine. The only other thing is, from what I understand, this gold material that is painted on here is prone to cracking, so be aware of that. It probably won't last forever, especially if you're playing with it, getting it wet, or otherwise, having it out in the sun, or in the elements, I don't know. What are you doing with your plushies? I'm sorry, man, this is just magical to me. There's something about when you start a new collection and you get your first experience with, like, new characters that you really like, and it's like, oh my god, I finally have a figure of these things I really enjoy. You can't put words to it. It takes you back to being a kid. And these guys look spectacular. But unfortunately, it's kind of awakened a new bug in me, a sense of, who else would I want? Who else deserves a really good plush? And I don't really know the answer. I mean, sure, there's other Nintendo villains I can think of who would be great as plushies, and maybe one day I can find them. Maybe one day they'll have a plush that's not $400 because they were only in a UFO capture machine in Japan. Maybe one day I could have a King K. Rool. Or I could just go back to the same company and get a King K. Rool. Okay, listen to me. Bowser is my favorite Nintendo character. And I say character because Bowser is just as much a hero as he is a villain. He's basically like the anti-hero. King K. Rool is my favorite Nintendo villain. Pure evil, spectacular, humorous, amusing. I love everything about him. And by the way, Return to Crocodile Isle, the song that just dropped here on YouTube, go watch it. It's the best fan-made content I have ever seen for a video game. Not just Nintendo, not just Smash Brothers or Donkey Kong. It is the best fan-made content I have ever seen for a video game. An amazing song that is a love letter to every corner of Donkey Kong, especially if you like King K. Rool and the Kremlings like I do. So, yeah, the plush is pretty amazing to have, though he does have a few more issues than King Koopa does. So I've been trying to figure out who went into the creation of this King K. Rool, and I think I know the answer. A lot of this is its own stuff. The hands, those are new. I can't connect that to anyone. Same with the head, same with the cape. However, there's parts of Bowser in here. The feet and the legs come to mind, and pits of the stomach. But there's a lot of Wario in here. If you've ever seen the Sanei Wario, the arms are highly similar, as is the midsection. So they have Frankenstein to King K. Rool together, which, if you've ever seen, oh god, what was it? Baron von Kruckenstein from the 3rd Donkey Kong Country game, it's kind of fitting that he has become a Frankenstein's monster. Looking at the plush, the eye is bloodshot, but it is kind of hard to see. It just looks like it's weirdly big, but they're actually better aligned than my King Koopa. The teeth are really goofy. I'm not big on them at all. I kind of wish they were smaller. He has a tongue in there, which is interesting. Kind of dig that. The cape is really well done. Cool, weighty. Has great embroidering here on the bottom. It is supposed to look tattered. They did it too uniform for it to look ragged, but I think it still looks nice. And then you have the same gold material that was on the crowns for the stomach and the braces. Thing I will say again, that's prone to breaking. That's prone to cracking. And now it's all over him. So that could be a problem down the line. That said, they remembered his Audi. They remembered his Audi belly button. That's spectacular. he does stand really well, weirdly enough, and that's because he does still have his tiny tail. The only thing is, like, if you're, just kind of pushing him all around like I've been doing now, he does get imbalanced, but just standing there, he's pretty solid. I will also say, his crown is different from King Koopa's. It's a lot more ornate and smaller. It is completely accurate to his normal crown, but it's also having some issues right now, which is unfortunate. And there you have it, a plushie triple threat. 3 of my absolute favorite designs for video game villains ever, 2 of my favorite Nintendo characters ever, well, honestly, my 2 favorite Nintendo characters ever, because it's Bowser and then King K. Rool is a strong number 2. And I gotta say, I'm super happy. I don't know if I'm going to get many more of these third-party plushies, knockoff plushies from this company. They do have some cool stuff. If you go on eBay, you can find them real easily just by looking up like King Koopa plushie, Dry Bowser plushie, Giga Bowser plushie, King K. Rool plushie. But here's the simple fact of the matter. They saw an opening in the market, they went in, they made some decent products. Are they official? No. Are they going to be for everyone? No. But they are fun, and they are quality. Are they up to snuff to this Sanei Bowser? No. But they're definitely up to snuff compared to most American plushies. So, in a weird way, they're still better quality than a lot of plushies you could find nowadays because they're ripping off something that's very quality. If I had to rank, I do think... That's actually tough because I was about to say Bowser is the clear number 1. I think Bowser is the best made and has the most quality control. But looking at them, I actually think I would put King K. Rool at the top. He has the most problems, but he's also the most different and feels the most unique and deserved. So King K. Rool, and then normal Bowser, and then King Koopa third. And now I'm just thinking, they could probably get King Wart. And then we'd have all 4 major Nintendo reptiles. You could do it. You could do it. You could take that idea for free. Steal from me just like you stole from Sanei. But no, great plushies. I can't wait to expand this collection more, and to be honest, even though I love this King K. Rool a lot, I would still like to get the 2 official plushies he has. The only thing is, like I said, they go for like $500. One is a UFO capture claw, one is from the Donkey Kong Country's Returns cartoon. Both look spectacular, both honestly look better than this one. But, in case I can never do that, I'm really happy just to have all of my favorite Nintendo baddies in plushie form.